There's a myth that Metroid Other M isn't canon. Some argue that there are a few story details that contradict past and future Metroid games in the timeline, while others who didn't like the game's story choose to reject it on principle, projecting that Nintendo clearly doesn't consider it canon as none of the games have directly referenced it. That and hardly any of the events that occurred in Other M don't have any consequences for later games in the timeline. I would explain more, but I actually made an entire video about that a few months ago. And I came to the conclusion that it doesn't matter if Other M is canon or not, because the story doesn't have any bearing on the other games. The main plot point, being Adam's death, was something we already knew from Fusion, and thus could have happened at any point in Samus's past. But that was prior to Dread, and as it turns out, Dread actually seems to offer a definitive answer as to whether Other M is truly canon. But perhaps not in the way you might expect. Before we continue, know that this video has spoilers for a couple of Metroid Dread's final unlockables, but we won't be going into any story details. Still, if you don't want to know about what you get after completing the game, turn this video off now. So if the story of Metroid Dread itself doesn't call back to anything that happened in Other M, how does the game prove it's canon? Well, when you complete the game, you are awarded art pieces commemorating every one of the mainline Metroid games, with the remakes Zero Mission and Samus Returns taking the spots for Metroid 1 and 2. Finishing the game on normal rewards you with a Zero Mission art piece, beating it on normal in less than 4 hours gives you Super Metroid and Samus Returns pieces, and so on. There are 6 illustrations in total, even one for Dread itself. But wait, there are 6 of them? How can that be when Metroid Dread was literally called Metroid 5 in the reveal trailer? That's where things get interesting, as completing Dread on hard mode will reward you with a Metroid Other M illustration too, showing Samus's encounter with the Ridley clone. While Metroid Dread's story doesn't mention any event from Other M, why would Nintendo include art from a game that they didn't consider canon? And this seems to prove, or at least strongly suggest, that Metroid Other M is indeed considered by Nintendo to be canon. But that's not all. There are another set of illustrations you can unlock called Chozo Archives, detailing what happened before Samus landed on planet ZDR. Each one can be unlocked by 100%ing every area in the game, and when you 100% them all, you'll unlock a special art piece showing Samus and some key characters from previous Metroid games, including Adam as he appears in Other M. It's clear that Metroid producer Yoshio Sakamoto cares a lot about Other M and treats it just as importantly as the other mainline games in the series. Regardless of your perfectly valid opinions on Other M, Metroid Dread seems to confirm that it's canon. So with that, the myth has been busted. So how do you feel now that Metroid Other M is seemingly definitively canon? Let us know in the comments below, and check out the videos on the right for more topics you might be interested in. Until next time, bye.